guys, welcome back to our channel. You're watching Daddy Daughter Talk the podcast, and I'm Kelsey, and you are.
I am Dad. I'm Chris.
Well, hello there, Dad.
How you
We
been?
just gonna hop right into this episode. What is dating? You
Hold
want
on for a second. Hold on for a second. Hold on for a second.
to? Okay.
This topic here is we're actually doing this topic because one of our last videos, somebody had commented in the comment section that they would like to see us do a video about dating.
Mhm.
So with that being said, give us ideas when
You.
you watch the videos, and go ahead and go into the comment section and tell us what you thought about those videos. But you're also very, very welcome, and not just welcome, but encouraged to go ahead and give us ideas on things that you would like us to talk about. And depending on the situation and circumstance, we may talk to you directly in between episodes to go ahead and get your story, so we can maybe can go ahead and intertwine your situation into what it is that we're talking about. So again, this has come about due to somebody leaving a comment and giving us a suggestion on what we're going to talk about, or what we should talk about, or what they'd like for us to talk about. But
Also,
back to the topic at hand,
wait,
dating.
wait. Also, if you feel so inclined and you
So
know
inclined.
one of us personally and you feel just so
Personally,
strongly, huh?
I said personally.
And you feel just so strongly about a topic that we either discussed or a topic that you wanted us to discuss and you want to join us, hit me on the side. Hit me on the side, hit him on the side, and we might just could collaborate and do the thing or whatever.
Hey,
So
this
let's
is a open forum for the community, and it can actually include the community. So it's not a big deal for us to get somebody else involved with this conversation. So if you would like to join, as you stated, reach out to us, let us know, hit us in the comment. But if you know us personally, hit us on whatever forum that you have to do so, and we'll be more than happy to consider that and make those things happen.
all right. So what's dating, Dad? What is that?
What's dating? As a matter of fact, before I give my definition, can you go ahead and jump over and get the Webster's definition of dating? Because I like to get the official definition before I give mine,
Gotcha.
because mine could be more so an opinion than a definition. So let's go ahead and try to capture the actual definition of what dating is, and then I will gladly give my interpretation of whatever the hell that meaning was.
Let's get the Webster.
The Webster. While she's doing it, hopefully everybody's having a good day. Everything's going good. Your 2021 is, on the incline. I know mine is.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a few different definitions because I don't think this pertains to relationships, but just off rip, dating can be defined as determining the period of time to which something belongs, to determine the date, um, and then the other one talks about fossils. We don't care about fossils.
Because they're talking about dating as in the age of something. That's not what we're talking about.
Right. That's
We are actually talking about two separate entities getting to know one another with the possibility of becoming one.
okay. So then this other Wikipedia definition says dating is a stage of a romantic relationships in human whereby two people meet socially with the aim of each assessing the other's suitability as prospective partners in an intimate relationship. It is a form of courtship consisting of social activities done by the couple either alone or with others.
Okay. So that kind of gives, because they use the terminology of courting, and that's accurate. But that's kind of the old school version of dating.
Mhm.
New school version of dating nowadays. Um, I'm older, but still I'm in the game of dating. and old school compared to new school. I think that dating nowadays is like scratch off lottery, or the mentality of new school dating is scratch off lottery. If
Mm-hmm.
you have, let's say, a person that's their goal is physical, they feel as though they should actually be able to get that physical instantly. It's like either we're going to or we're not going to. And if we're not going to, then leave me alone. And if we are, let's move forward. It's kind of the same thing in reverse from the opposing side for those that want relationships. They feel as though, or they appear like they should be able to know by the end of the week, if not the end of the initial introduction, whether or not you're a solid candidate for marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And it just doesn't work that way.
Mm-hmm.
It does not work that way. It's people, and I guess the irony is that people kind of don't believe in love at first sight, which love at first sight is possible, just not probable.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what people are looking for. They're looking for that instant gratification, notification, security, all those things, and it just doesn't work that way. It's not so much like the lottery, it's more like the casino. You definitely have to invest, and the more you invest, the greater chance that you can actually win the jackpot that's up top. So you got that big, huge number, 57,000 on the top of that slot machine. If you're putting one quarter in that, you can win something, but you ain't gonna win that jackpot. You got to put everything on the line in order to be the big winner.
Mm-hmm.
And dating, the reality of dating, it's kind of similar to that. You really have to invest in a person, invest in that situation to get the desired results. Because if you don't, you just won't, you'll get what you get.
Right. I think that's interesting though, because when I first thought about dating, especially like in like middle school, high school age, dating and exclusivity was like synonymous for me. It was like, oh, that's your boyfriend, that's your girlfriend, like they are dating. Um, and then when I would hear you talk about dating people, I'm like, bro, just say you going steady. And I heard that off the Cosby Show. I ain't really know what that meant, but I'm
Mhm.
like, that more closely aligns with what they portrayed going steady to be on the Cosby Show. Like you ain't dating nobody. Like that ain't your girlfriend, especially like the type of conversations that we have. Like we talk about what dating was like for you, even when I was at that age, but it still didn't click for me.
Mhm.
If somebody dating their boyfriend, girlfriend, period, and the next step after that is marriage. And I feel like for my age group, the replacement word for dating, or the word that I could more relate to in terms of dating, is talking. Oh, they talking. Oh, I used to talk to him. I was more than his friend, but not quite his girlfriend. I understood
Mhm.
that language, and I wasn't able to use them interchangeably because dating to me was exclusive. And so to think or even hear about people dating multiple people, then my mind was blown. Like, psh. And even now with my one track mind, like if I'm talking to somebody, I'm only talking to you because I just
Mhm.
can't keep up. I can't be doing all these million different people's my interests. I have to be singularly focused, or I'm everything gonna go everywhere. I'm not gonna remember who told me what.
Well. Let me throw this in there.
Hmm.
Um, when I was younger, your high school loves and all those things,
Hmm.
I only had eyes for one person, only had the energy, desires for one person.
Hmm.
As I got older and got out into the world,
Hmm.
perspectives changed. Definitely perspective changed. And even now, approaching 50, my perspective has changed again. As far as what you laughing at?
Oh, I said you old.
Oh, okay, that's cool. But the same thing like your brother would say, y'all not faster than me, stronger than me, can't do more push-ups, sit-ups, and all those good things. So
That's
I'm
okay.
glad to be old. I'm happy to be old. But my perspective on dating has changed yet again.
Mhm.
Um, but it's I do believe that society has a definite impact on the game of dating, even so much as what people want in a relationship.
Mhm.
But dating starts with you.
Mhm.
Dating starts with you. You have to be in tune with who you are. You have to have gained an understanding of who you are. If you know who you are, then you probably have a better understanding of what you desire, what you do want, what you don't want, what you can take, what you can't take. What are your negotiables and what are your non-negotiables? If you don't have a good understanding of that, then trying to melt that in with somebody else, and each experience should be basically an opportunity to learn more about yourself
Mhm.
in relations to a relationship. So
Mhm.
it's not them so much, because when it's over with, there is no more them.
Right.
So why should that even be your focus? Um, Take a look at what you did to encourage that behavior, correct that behavior,
Mhm.
um, or cause that behavior,
Right.
and reflect on your role within that relationship, so you can then make the adjustments within yourself to when you get to a new situation, you give yourself a better opportunity to be successful. But
Mhm.
then also, dating kind of with me now is more like business. It's more business than it is. I mean, it's definitely personal, but
Mhm.
it's taken on a more business aspect, to
Mhm.
where it used to be all you had to be was cute.
Mhm.
Be attractive, be cute, be able to hold my attention for a little while, and that's hard enough within itself. But hold my attention for a while. But now it takes more of that, because there's more of me, so I demand more. Um, what do you bring to the table outside of being cute and fun to be around?
Mhm.
The ladies have their demands, so I need to have mine too.
Mhm.
But
I kind of want to backtrack a little bit. When you said dating starts with you, I think
yes.
that that's it's interesting, and I think that most people forget that part because, like, kind of how we talked about on the last video, how about I knew about myself as an individual, but come combining or inviting other people into my space, not that I
Hmm.
was significantly different, but it was a difference and it was uncharted territory for me because I didn't mix and mingle with people on a romantic setting prior to. So it was like, wait a minute, you are slightly different. Not like I'm acting a whole nother way, but now there is somebody else to consider
Hmm.
in that scenario. And so I am going to kind of shift and alter a little bit because it's not just about me anymore. And prior to experiencing dating or talking to somebody, I never even had to think about how I might act or how I might be in that environment. And even before, like, I would be like, oh, if I had a boyfriend, or if I want this, and that out of a relationship. And then starting to dabble into that and starting to be more even interested in potentially dating somebody or getting to know somebody that I may want to talk to more than a friend showed me that I move differently when even looking at prospects or how I am around people that could potentially be somebody I date, could potentially be a boyfriend, could potentially be a husband. And that's going to be a new part of me that I have to get to know. So prior to before, I just thought that I could just show up as myself, which don't get me wrong, I'm not like just altering into this whole nother being, but it's just a different part of me that I never had to really be. So while I'm out here dating, not only am I getting to know you, but I'm getting to know myself because this is now a new experience for me and a new window for me. And
Right.
after watching that last video, I thought about it, and most girls my age in today's world, they started dating or talking to people in a romantic way at 14, 16.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't start seriously entertaining people at 21. So my experience window is like these.
Okay, so let me ask you a question real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Why why did you why did it start to enter your mind at about 21 instead of 14, 16 like it typically does? Why? What's the rhyme behind that?
One, I knew very early on that I am a 100% type of person, meaning
Mm-hmm.
that if I'm going to entertain you or if I'm going to even call myself talking or dating to you, it's either I'm all about you or you don't exist to me. There's no in between. But at 14, 16, I couldn't be all about you and get to know me. I didn't have that ability to do both at the same time. And I understood that because when I did kind of dibble and dabble, I was so busy chasing up this person's coattails that I forgot about me. And I didn't like that. Once I noticed that about myself, I didn't like that. And so I was like, I'd rather be friends and with it's, but let me be specific. I'd rather be friends with these boys that I may like. And if something comes out of that when I'm ready, something comes out of that when I'm ready. But it would be, to me, I felt as though it would be selfish of me to try to entertain this idea of being in a relationship with somebody or dating somebody when one is still a lot that I need to learn about myself, and I have no idea what I would even want or get out of that situation other than a title, and the title just wasn't important to me at that age. So I just didn't really dabble in it. Like, don't get me wrong, I have had male friends that I've talked to and had situationships with, but it was just like, okay, like if I have the time to carve out for you today, then okay, that's the time you get. But other than that, I was more interested in learning who I was
Mm-hmm.
as an individual at that age. And then I had other extracurricular activities. By 16, I had a job and I kept a job. I was busy. I didn't have time to be really invest in myself in a boy because I knew my personality type and I knew that I had to choose extracurricular and me or this boy, and he was never more important than me. Whoever he may have been that I liked at the time, never more important for me at least.
Okay. So let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever felt pressure from society to be dating?
Yes, for sure, for sure.
Um, and that I feel kind of bad for women. I think it puts women in a compromising situation to where people think something wrong if you don't have a man.
Mm-hmm.
After you hit a certain age, people think something wrong if you don't have a child. People think something wrong if you're not married. Um, I sincerely understand the biological clock. And I think I said this in the previous video.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand the societal clock, the social clock. Why do you have to do this at this time? It's like you're operating at somebody else's speed.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm uber glad that you understood that you have to know you before you intertwine you with somebody else. That's just optimum.
Mhm.
It's like loving yourself before you love somebody else. If you don't know who you are and what you like, I mean, it's literally impossible for
Mhm.
somebody else to make you happy, per se, because you don't know what makes you happy. So how can they do something to make you happy? They can do something to make you smile. They can do something to make you giggle. They can do something to please you, but you have no idea what happiness is within yourself. So nobody else can do it. So if you don't love you, then nobody else, you wouldn't know what love was when it knocked on your door. So I'm glad you took the time, or just you had the insight within yourself that, hey, I can't get to know somebody at the same time of getting to know myself. So I choose me first. And I think you took a decent amount of time, and you still need time to get to know you, because once you take yourself and blend it in with somebody else, you're going to change.
Right.
And I don't care who you are. If you can take your life and intertwine it with somebody else's life, and there be absolutely no change in you, then you're probably not in a situation. You're probably in an arrangement.
Right.
And that works for some people. Some people it doesn't work, but to each his own. It's 1,000 different varieties of what dating can be, and find the dating that works for you.
No,
Because
what's
when it's all
interesting.
said and done, you're the person to be happy. You said, go ahead.
No, what's interesting though? Like I would say, like early on, it was a no brainer for me. Like after I discovered that personality trait of mine, it was a no brainer for me to focus on myself. But then probably around between 18 through 21, because of societal's pressures and what society deemed to be the norm, for a little minute it would ebb and flow and it would come and go. Sometimes I felt broken. I felt like the perfect home girl. Everybody, especially dudes, they would love to talk to me. They would love to tell me about like their relationships, or like we would be extremely, extremely close. I know a lot of people, but I'm closer to a small bundle of people. And then I'm even closer to like my closest friends. I have more male closer friends and I have more female closer friends. And within those exchanges, me and these dudes would be tight like this. We could talk about anything and we would giggle and ha 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 ha. And it would sometimes always come around. It would sometimes come around to whoever gets you gonna be lucky. You got a smart head on your shoulders. You are a smart girl. And for a minute, it was like, I mean, I know we friends and I appreciate you for not crossing that boundary and crossing that line or testing the waters. And that may even be the test, but it went over my head. So I didn't see it as that. But
Mhm.
dang, like, I'm cute. I'm a girl. Why aren't you pursuing me? And so
It,
for a minute, I felt broken because my counterparts on the other side of me, I would see their interactions and I would see how people would kind of skip over to be your friend, like, hey, what's up? Hello. Like, let me talk to you, let me get your number, let me holler at you. And although that was happening to me, it was from people that I had no interest in. And I never was interested in skipping that friend step. But because of how what society deems as normal for young women my age to be dating, I did kind of feel like, all right, like pursue me so I can tell you no, because I'm not ready for that. But also, like, I don't want to be the perfect home girl, the girl who you can tell everything to and dang near move as if this was like a practice trial for your relationship. The girl that you want to be with, but maybe you're not quite ready for, or you put her on this hierarchy, or you leave her on this step of friends. And that would bother me sometimes because it was like, I don't really want to be in a relationship, but also like I'm still a girl and I still want to be pursued. So, like, is it something wrong with me? But I think what got me out of that stage of feeling like I was only going to be the perfect homegirl forever was when I realized that I didn't even have the words or the courage to pursue anybody. Even the people that the guys that I maybe had liked for years or were growing to like, if they weren't pursuing me, it wasn't happening. So for me, that told me that you're not ready for a relationship, because now you're not going to self advocate. You're going to let this person lead the way, and they just might lead you to disaster. Because at what point will you speak up and say, yeah, I do like this is cool, or no, I don't like this, let's sit back and talk and let's catch up. You just gonna ride on that train just to be on that train because you feel like you're supposed to be, not because you necessarily want to be. And even if you wanted to, if you really wanted something so bad, especially being who I am, if I want something, I'm gonna speak up. But there was this fear or this uncertainty due to my lack of experience, or what I considered lagging behind on the curve, because you got 14, 16 is the start for most my age, and then I still ain't even started at this point when I'm feeling like this. So that means you need to sit down you need to sit down somewhere, because if you can't speak up and self advocate for yourself, you're not ready. And I remember your mom specifically, something that she told me. She was like, and it came about so abruptly. Sorry, I'm putting your business out there, but I gotta say it because it was funny. I remember one day I had a case on my phone, and she was like, many of y'all will put cases on y'all phone but won't wrap it up. And I'm like, whoa. Ooh. Whoops. And I'm like, wait a minute, lady, like, chill out, pipe down. I ain't even thinking about nothing like that. And then we get to talking more. And she was like, if you embarrassed to buy condoms, then you shouldn't be having sex. If I can't self advocate for myself, if I can't say I like you and I'd like to get to know you, then I don't need to be, what I'm worried about somebody pursuing me for? Because I'm not even going to speak up. I'm going to just sit there like a stiff board, like, okay, you get comfortable first, and then I'll just try not to die here. And I noticed that. I noticed that early on, and I didn't like that. So I mind my business. Like, that don't mean I can't have friends. That don't mean I can't talk to people or I can't meet new people. That just means that I wasn't ready to be even looking for some type of commitment that I thought that I should have. And then I let that whole perfect homegirl stuff go. You just ain't ready yet, and that's okay. Like, chill out, pipe down, enjoy your friendships, and when the time comes, it'll be natural for you to speak up for yourself. It'll be natural to say, hey, I think you're cute. Hey, here's my number, talk to me. Hey, I'd like to get to know you. And it's still harder now. I mean, it's still not second nature at 23, but when I feel that feeling in my gut that I want to, at the very least, introduce myself to somebody or make my presence known, it's easier. I'm not sitting here debating or walking back and forth staring at this guy in the library for 30 minutes. I can just say, hey, my name is Kelsey now, when before I couldn't do that.
Okay. So first off, you got the same talk that I got. I got that talk at 13, 14, because I asked the question. I flat foot answered the question.
I just walked in the room. I ain't saying
you walked in on it. You walked in on it. I just asked the question. Hey, when will I know that I'm ready for sex? And she said, when you can walk up to the counter and ask for condoms without being embarrassed. She told me, so she told me roughly the exact same thing. She just jumped on you, and I willfully walked up to it. You just walked into it. I walked to it, you walked into it. But going back to these friendships that you had, Who approached who initially? Did the guy approach you, or did you approach the guy?
Always a guy approached me.
Okay.
I was a
So
nervous wreck.
let me define those situations for you.
Mm-hmm.
They were interested in you.
Mm-hmm.
They were interested in you. Um, they saw value. They saw value, but then as they got closer to you, they saw who you were. And the reality of the situation is you probably intimidated them. You intimidated them. It was just like, she's not typical. I always told you, you were built to stand out, not fit in.
Mm-hmm.
And not that you're better than anybody, or
Mm-hmm.
anybody's better than you for that matter. It's just that some people just are different. They don't
Mm-hmm.
have to do anything different. They're just different. They just their rhythm is just a little different. It's still a 1, 2, 3, 4, but it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, because
Mm-hmm.
it's still between 1 and 4. That's still the same amount of distance,
Mm-hmm.
but it's that 2 and 3 that's a little bit off. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just a little bit. It's just a little bit off.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they get closer to you, they see, oh, this one's different. And as a more seasoned dater, so to speak, yeah, it's that way. You can meet 5 different women in the club,
Mm-hmm.
and 4 of them, it's, I don't want it to be anything more than the club on the intro.
Mm-hmm.
But you see them from across the room, so it's not like you see anything different. You see an attractive person, but when you step forward to interact with them, and they open themselves up a bit, and it just could be their posture, it could be their words, it could be something that came from the eye contact. It's something about them that's different, and
Mm-hmm.
when you see that difference, you will move differently.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna try my this, that, and the third move on her. It's just um like we were talking earlier, and I said, if I'm, which I've happened to run into Nicole Murphy, I've seen her more than once in my life,
Mm-hmm.
and I call her the human filter. She looks like she looks on TV and social media. She looks the exact same way in person. Like there's a filter walking around on her face all the time. No, she looks like that. But I automatically know I'm not gonna just walk up to Nicole Murphy and be like, yo, what's up? What's good? What you doing tonight? Let's go get something to eat. It's not happening. You walk up to it like, hey, can I get a picture? But I could see another female that is super attractive, just like Nicole Murphy, and walk up to her and ask her for her phone number, or what you doing tonight? Let's go get something to eat, something along those lines. There is a difference. So when a guy walks up to a woman and he sees something different about her, his approach will be different. And they hang around. It's like, okay, well, maybe I could slide into it, but as they get close, it's like there's no sliding here. So then we just be homies. She's a cool person. She's a really really cool person. And as long as a person's a good person, a cool person, most people won't just walk away from her
Mm-hmm.
unless they had, let's call it evil intent. Not necessarily evil intent, but their intent wasn't necessarily good. They're not gonna go for what it is that I'm trying to do. They'll walk away.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't a situation that you just weren't good enough, or I'm just homegirl material. Nah, they would want more from you. It's just that they don't think it's attainable. So they have to adjust their movement just to even be around you. They have to adjust their movement, but then they get comfortable with the space and realize, hey, she's a really, really cool female. I just genuinely like being around her. So then they open themselves up to you
Mm-hmm.
and tell you the truth about everything. Now, the trick is to be able to do that, be that same person, and give off that same vibe when there is a romantic interest from both parties.
Right.
You know, being that he felt like he wasn't going to gain anything, then there was nothing to lose. So
Right.
I can say anything. I can
Mm-hmm.
say absolutely anything, and it won't impact my standing
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not going anywhere anyway. It makes sense?
Yeah.
So that's the trick, is to be able to be completely forthright, to be completely honest, be completely transparent and genuine, and the person still accepts you for who you are and where you want to be. And how do you think you do that?
To me, it's like you just be yourself, but at the same,
But it's beyond being yourself. Being yourself and being totally honest are two different things.
true.
Because you're walking down the street and you're saying hello, 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 nice to meet you, hold the door open, you're being yourself, but are you open to those people?
Right. I feel
So
like a certain level of comfortability that you have, like that the environment created for you to even feel like you can open up and be super honest.
you sure about that?
I don't know. I just saying.
Okay, but remember, we, at least between you and I don't know about the listening audience, but between you and I, we've already assessed that before you can get to know somebody else, you need to get to know yourself first, right?
True. Yeah.
Okay, so that environment that you're looking for is here.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get to know yourself, but
Mm-hmm.
are you comfortable with yourself?
Gotcha.
Like completely comfortable with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
There's an exercise that I suggest to people that want to build self-confidence. And if you know me for real in real life and you've ever come to me about what should you do to get to know yourself better, or fall in love with yourself, to gain confidence, things along those lines. If I've ever said this to you, if you know me and talked to me like that before, then this will sound familiar to you. I would always suggest that people get up in the morning and stand in the mirror naked, find their flaws, and then tell yourself that I love you. Like I love you, nude, naked, flawed, not perfect. Not that I need to improve this body part.
Mm-hmm.
No, I love this body part as it is. I may want it to be better, but if it doesn't get better, I still love it today as I would. Like, I ain't got no six pack. I got a nice little wagon wheel here. I'd like to have a six pack, but I don't have a six pack. But I love my stomach the same way I would my six pack. And it's up to me to go get a six pack if I really want a six pack. But I'm not going to feel any better about myself as a human being with the perfect body as I do with this dad body. I'm not going to feel any better about myself. I might feel better on the beach,
Right.
but I'm not going to feel any better about myself. So, me as a person, I love me. Not saying that you don't love you, but I love me so much that I can tell anybody intimate secrets about me, and there's nothing that it's not going to impact me.
Mm-hmm.
So, me, when I meet people, I generally tell them the absolute worst truth about me.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you can make it past the worst truth, then you probably wouldn't mind sticking around for the good stuff.
Right.
But it also, that's me taking the lead in being honest. That's me taking the lead in being honest and being vulnerable to whomever it is that I'm interested in. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still creating that that atmosphere that we can both be honest with each other and still stay interested. Now, if you don't, then you don't. You just can't deal with the truth, and I'm okay with it because my truth is a tremendous deal to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weight. My truth is huge. It has a presence that's probably greater than me. So that's like I think that's the trick. You start from the beginning with that type of activity and show that it's welcome, and encourage that. Your phone is bad equilibrium, but that is my experience, and that's my assessment on that whole thing. You got to be able to be that friend and allow somebody to friend you like that.
You know what's crazy though? Starting back from the beginning of what you said. Okay, so the approach initially, like was the pursuit, because that's not what I thought pursuing somebody looked like. It went over my head. And all this time I'm wanting to be pursued, what I thought it looked like, I didn't like that. Don't walk up to me like, hey Ma, I think you sexy, because I'm not gonna find you interesting. I'm not. I'm gonna be like, okay. Like, I know I'm cute. What you're not telling me nothing that I don't know. So like, that wasn't interesting.
I didn't teach you that. Yeah, I did not teach you that, but that's okay.
That didn't catch my attention, and in fact it was off-putting because it didn't make you any different from the mass majority. And so then here's this guy that's like being my friend first, but I can't see it. I'm oblivious to any potential attraction because it's not what I thought it should look like. And I don't like what I think it should look like, but I so-called want that so that I don't feel broken in a sense. But then after getting over that, after getting over that and talking about it more, whether it be with friends or with you, and hearing that word intimidation tossed around, and then hearing males tell me that I intimidate them and that they're not on my caliber, then it made me question, how am I showing up? Because how in the world am I intimidating you if the whole idea of dating somebody intimidates me? And while I am being myself, and typically I am outspoken, I do walk around with this confidence about myself because I've taken the time to learn myself as an individual so I can show up all day as this individual. But the idea of us mixing and colliding our worlds terrifies me. So how on earth am I intimidating you? And it used to make me mad because it's like, you're not gonna try, or we're not gonna talk about this. For one, you can help me break down my belief barriers. And for two, it helps me adjust the way that I'm showing up, because the reflection that I'm getting off of you, like the reflection of myself that I'm getting off of you, clearly isn't accurate. You see this confident, this confidence, and you see one picture and I see another. Not that either of our pictures are wrong, but you only see my exterior, but you don't see my heart going like this. You don't see all of these thoughts, all these phrases, and all these words that I wish I could just spit out my mouth, but I can't. You don't see me fighting myself on the inside. And for me, to me, that says that I'm not showing all the way up, and we're not seeing the same thing. We're not reading on the same clock if you listened to or seen the last video. And that would bother me every time I'm hit with that. Oh, you just intimidating, or you got it all going on, and you got it this and you got it that. And it would just make me so mad because on the inside, I'm like, you got the game wrong. I like that you see that I'm confident, and I like that you see all of the positives of me, but you not being able to see my nervousness, you not being able to see my lack of expression, because yes, I'm saying words, but I'm just filling up space, and I'm just adding to a conversation that usually what I talk about is what I'm most confident in, because I know about that already. We ain't even diving into this world that I don't really know too much about, that I'd like to know, but I don't even know how to begin to express that. And you can't see that. So it's like you don't see all of me. And it makes me upset because how do I show up 100%? But you can't help me if you pause yourself because you're intimidated by this one piece of me that you see. So how do I begin to show up, and how do I begin to show all of me? And because the only way that I'm going to learn and get through these barriers is if I practice, and if I'm able to get that out. But how do I do that?
Well,
So then
it's Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, girl. You weren't finished.
Oh, I was just gonna say, so then it's just now I'm stuck because now I have to be an active participant in pulling that out of myself to even give people the opportunity to show me a better reflection so that I can correct and I can adjust to make sure that how I feel on the inside appropriately reflect what I give on the outside. Not saying that I do need to wear these negatives on my shoulders and I do need to walk around looking frightful, but I can't always show up so confident that you don't see my downfalls. You don't see my flaws because as a friend and just practicing in this life, because I'll forever and always be practicing and working on myself, sometimes I need that extra person to help me work through those barriers because clearly there's something on my end that's holding me back. Because usually what happens is I'm fighting myself. So, how do I show up enough to help you be a part of this process? And then maybe that can break down your intimidation and also build up my ability to self advocate.
So when you were younger, and I would say, baby, what's wrong? And you would say, nothing. And I say, baby, what's wrong? Nothing. What was the result?
Either you keep on asking me until I get frustrated and cry, and then say, I don't know, or you just leave it alone.
But I wouldn't necessarily leave it alone. I wouldn't just leave it alone, but I say, okay, cool. If you're going to act like nothing's wrong, I'm going to act like nothing's wrong. And I would tell you that I know something's wrong. But if you're going to act like ain't nothing wrong, I'm going to jump on that bus with you and we're going to ride it till the wheels fall off. So here's the thing. That's a you problem.
Very much so.
But you're saying, help me help you. Well, he tried to help you by walking over to you. That was his confidence. And all you had to do, or all you have to do, is say something nice to him. You just stood there in your confidence. Well, that confidence can be perceived as, dude, you're not even welcome here. Whether you stand here in front of me, whether you walk away, no big deal to me.
Right.
I mean, you're not impacting my life. And he probably can't help you any more than what he's helping you by walking over to you. And that within itself takes a great deal of gumption for most people.
Right.
Not just for a guy. And then at the same time, it's socially acceptable or socially expected that we are to run through, as males in this dating game, we are to run through 10 no's to get to that one yes. Women don't consider how many no's that a man hears. How many no's guys have heard going after the woman they want. But the one time a woman has to open her mouth to ask for something, and then it leaves you frustrated because you're afraid that you're going to hear no. Get comfortable within your own environment, that everything will not be a yes. But we're going to go back to the lottery. We're going to go back to the casino. It's only one way to get that jackpot.
Just keep playing.
Not to keep playing. You got to play. You have to put yourself in position to lose in order to win. You just can walk around the casino looking to pull slot arms, hoping that somebody to put money in there and walked away. That's very unlikely. Possible, but super improbable. If I put my money in the slot machine, I'm not walking away from it. I'm actually going to pull this immediately. But you have those that play on machines and they just these next 5 machines, and hopefully they can keep people away from those machines so they can then come back and pull it to get whatever it is they got coming to them. but you cannot win unless you play. So you were losing in these situations because you didn't give them a vested interest.
Mm-hmm.
And in most cases, that's all a young lady has to do. Give He came over here to talk to you. Give him interest. And women play hard to get. Okay, cool. You hard to get. All right, cool. Hey, I tried. And that's all most cats care about anyway. I tried. But you do have those special ones of us that don't need your involvement, so to speak. I don't need, like, you ain't telling me to walk away. So if you ain't telling me to walk away, then it must be cool for me to stay. And you still have to figure out a way to make him feel welcome. But then some people just don't need that. Some people, you can tell them I ain't interested, and you really mean I ain't interested. You can walk away, Cleophas. You that way. No, I don't want no drink. I don't want no nothing, man. Would you get away from me, please? That bugaboo type of dude or whatever. But yeah, it's a participation for both of us. It's a relationship. It's you and me. We gotta both do what we gotta do to make it work. And here's something about dating that is key to longevity. Never stop.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care where the relationship goes. If she makes it to, like, she's the girl you're interested in, so I pursue you,
Mm-hmm.
and now I'm there. I should never stop treating you like the girl I saw in the mall. I'm interested in you, therefore I'm pursuing you. You become my girlfriend, and then things go right. You graduate from a girlfriend to fiance, then to wife.
Mm-hmm.
But I should never stop dating you. We will have our ebbs and flows, our ups and our downs, but I should never stop dating you. And you, as the female, should never stop dating me,
Mm-hmm.
the male. Um, and those are the things that I think that we get jacked up in our society. We really get those things jacked up. So we need to move away, get back to the essence of what the goal is, and keep the objective front and center. You're gonna have your problems, and that's cool, that's guaranteed. But after you get through those problems, get back to the objective. And the objective is longevity. And how do you get to where you want to be? Repeat steps 1 and 2 from where you've been. If you can run a mile, you can run a marathon. It's 20, what is the marathon? 26.3 miles or 23.3 miles?
Something like that. One of them
I think
numbers.
it's 23.3 miles. So, okay, cool. If you can run a mile, then you run that mile 23.3 times. You repeat what you did originally.
26.3.
26.3. Okay. I should have known that, but either or. I knew it was 20 something point three. But you repeat steps 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Repeat steps 1 and 2. Repeat steps 1 and 2. You keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. So you never stop dating that person. And it's an evolving thing. It won't be the exact same version that it was previously, because they should be changing and you yourself should be changing. Keep it fresh, keep it new, keep it innovative, speak up for yourself, um, and make it happen. Make it happen. But it's a different game out there now, because people are looking for different things. It's all called the same thing. It's all called the same thing. It all falls under the same umbrella. But like you said back in the day, you had courting, going steady, and then, you know, straight up full blown relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And then that relationship blossoms into whatever it blossoms into. Nowadays, you got uh, sugar mamas and sugar daddies and sugar babies. But people call that dating. You got uh, what are they? FWBs, and people call that dating. Um, or you got one person say we're dating, and the other person say we're talking.
Mm-hmm.
And talking is non-committal, depending on who's saying it,
Mm-hmm.
or it's a commitment to a certain extent. But it's, dating nowadays is a whole new animal compared to what it used to be. Totally, it's a whole new animal. I'm scared for y'all. I'm scared. People out there dating right now and have no idea what they want. Have just don't have a lot of experience. I'm scared for y'all. I'm just gonna pray for y'all right now. Let that be what it is.
So I guess the takeaway from this would be date yourself first, get to know yourself and how you are, show up and reevaluate. So we
You
can put
always
that as 2.2 and 2.5 because they go up together. And
every every relationship needs constant evaluation and re-evaluation. Constant.
and be honest about your level of investment because what you put in is what you get out.
Yep. You can
Uh,
never draw money from an account that you never put money into.
yes. Um, and as always, the, the message is always be communicate, be open and be
Okay.
honest, and continue to communicate. Just because you had that conversation one time, don't mean you don't got to hit that again and check
Right.
in on it and make sure that y'all still talking about the same thing. Um, but this conversation was eye opening. Um, one because it's not like we never talked about it before, but it's interesting to be able to one talk about it on a platform so that people can see the thought process, but also making it more personal to me. It's easy to talk about I mean, it's interesting to talk about my timeline and how I went through these different thought processes about just what dating was compared to where I am now, but then also being able to understand and take responsibility for why I thought the way that I thought. Because all of it was a me thing. All of it from beginning to end was a me thing. And I don't quite think that that's necessarily bad. I feel like it's bad when I don't own and accept the fact that I put a lot of that stuff in my head and I made myself feel a certain type of way. However, I will say that I'm in control of what I put out in the atmosphere and what the atmosphere gives me back.
Mhm.
So if I can accept my role, I can change my role and I can
Yeah.
change, tweak what I do to attract what I want. And even if it take me going through those different stages,
Hmm.
I'm still in control and nobody is carrying me along and dragging me around and changing my circumstance because I'm not being an active participant. My participation is changing as I grow and mature and learn more about life and myself, but I was always a part of it. If that makes
Did you feel that phrase in my head?
sense.
Active participation. Did you feel that in my head?
It's the telepathy we got going on.
There you go. Because that's the exact phrasing that I would use. That it's being an active participant in your life. It's not up to somebody else to determine your destination because that's their destination. If you have a destination that you would like to arrive to, then you might at some point in time want to get behind the steering wheel.
Yep. Even
Yeah.
when being impressionable by what society deems normal, before I ever made a move, it always came back to what was tangible and efficient for me. and my personality in my life. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I could be doing one thing, but is this sufficient for me? Am I equipped to move like that? If so, okay, yeah, let's give it a try. But if not, no, we ain't gonna do that. And I feel like
Right.
that really saved me on a lot, not even just in the dating realms, but just in general.
Mm-hmm.
Can I handle that? And being honest with myself. Because, like I said, I'm an all or nothing type of person, but I refuse to be so far up your butt that I'm losing everything that I work for. So until I can handle it, that responsibility, I ain't gonna mess with it. And even
Right.
if I think about it or contemplate it, it always come back to that. Am I gonna have to work harder to dig myself out of this mess that I just called trying to chase the Joneses? Or is this something suitable for me? And if it ain't suitable, I ain't doing it. I don't care what y'all doing. No, because you don't have to dig me out. I do. And I don't want to do that.
Right.
But I think that this has been a great episode. And you got any last minute summarizations or last minute words you want to drop?
You said what?
I said, I think this has been a great episode and a good stopping point. You got any last minute words you want to drop?
Well, I did, but you like pull them right out and just the active participant. But yes, I do think this is a pretty good stopping point. But as we always tell you guys, um, be an active participant in this process. Always make sure you mash that subscription button
Mm-hmm.
to be notified of when we do upload new episodes. Make sure you hit that heart, a little,
It's the like, but he'll learn.
yeah, just to like, and always, because it costs you zero, share the content. If you got some enjoyment out of it, it's a great chance that somebody else will get some enjoyment out of it. So share the content with them. Also, this episode has come about because somebody left a comment under a previous video with a suggestion. So that's how we got to this part. So if you have a suggestion, any comments, likes, do's, and don'ts, go ahead and leave them in the comment section. And the next episode could be inspired by you. And also, we do invite those out there that may want to join and may have a voice more so than just commentary.
Right.
Reach out to us and we can possibly get you on here as well.
Yes. Have a topic
With,
you want to talk about too. Don't just be like, I want to do it. No, what we talking about, pimp? Bring something to the table.
exactly. But that's also in the dating world, don't just come with a list of wants. Bring a list of what you bring to the table as well. That will set you apart from everybody else.
Yes, sir.
But that'll be another episode. So this actually brings this episode of Daddy Daughter Talks to a close. And with that being said, Daddy Daughter out.